Hi. Welcome back to Wait, It's Podcast with your host, Kayla. So glad to have you back here today. Hello, how are you? I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. How am I doing? Let's just get right into it. I'm doing well. At the beginning of this week, it started off a little rocky because I felt like I was getting my period, and it's that weird feeling when you're like something's coming. My uterine line is shedding. It's time, and then nothing comes, and I'm incredibly hormonal. I was so pissed at everything and everyone, at the state of this world. Mainly it was all going on in my head, but yeah, I was like, okay, my period's coming, it's time. I'm pretty self-aware about that. I get extremely angry like 2 days before that uterine line sheds, and I'm like, okay, it's period time. But then nothing came, and shouldn't be anything nefarious, so I'm thinking, hey, it's here we are. It was just a false alarm there. So the beginning of this week started off incredibly confused. I was like, what's going on with my body? What is life? And then we're up and it's up. And yeah, and then I've just been going to the gym. I'm back on my gym grind. There was a period of time where I wasn't going to the gym as regularly as I would have liked to. I mean, life happens. It's not that serious at all. Um, but the gym for me, I think it kind of started when I was in college, actually. I went through a little gym bro phase. Gym bro meaning I would just go run on the treadmill for like 45 minutes. Like it was insane. And then just leave. So I wasn't like using anything else in our gym, like on our campus, but I would like go crazy on a treadmill. And it kind of started, I think, because dance for me for the longest time obviously was how I would decompress, and it still is. But when I went to college, there was a little bit of an adjustment period where, the thing I used to like decompress and get away from school is now one of my majors. So it's part of my education. And now suddenly I'm doing a lot of work, toward this thing that I used as a reprieve for the longest time. So it was just a little bit of a growth period of how do I decompress, like what's that thing that I do now. That's not, it needed to be active, like it couldn't be like, I love reading, it couldn't be just reading though, or going to see a movie. It needed to be something active. So I started going to the gym, and I really enjoyed it, and then it kind of got to an intense period where I had to like, slow it down a little bit, because what would happen is I would go, again, dances, I love dancing. As I always say, I do love dance. And so what would happen my junior year is I was dancing so much. We had so many shows. I was in rehearsals all the time. I was also in this like dance org, so I was doing that stuff. So I was dancing all the time. But that felt like it was fun, or it felt like school. And so I was like, I need to decompress. So I'd also go to the gym. And so there were days where I was dancing for like 5 hours of the day, go to the gym, run for 45 minutes, right? And then like go to a rehearsal. Like it was ridiculous. And I wasn't like fueling my body enough. And it was chaotic, and my head hurt, and I was angry all the time. And yeah, so I kind of slowed down after that. And then cut to a couple years later when I moved to New York, I was so worried about just settling into the city. I Finding a gym, God, was like the last thing on my list. Like, hey, how about we find a home first? You know what I'm saying? Like, was not concerned about finding a gym at all. And then last year, when I got my first apartment, I lived not too far from a gym. And so I joined that gym, was there for 6 months, hated it after a while, then joined another gym that was nearby to me. This isn't like relevant, but essentially I ended up finding a gym that I was going to regularly, and it was a lot of fun. It was Planet Fitness. So, so I think for other people, for like actual gym bros, it's like Planet Fitness doesn't work. For someone who's literally running on a treadmill, it did just fine. It did what it needed to do. I was more than happy to be at that Planet Fitness. Um, and yeah, and since I've moved to my new apartment, there's a gym like downstairs, and it is saving my life. Like it's now forcing me to go. I have no excuse like not to go. And I've been going so often, and it's been fun and a great way to start my day. That's the point. This was a long-winded way of saying that I've been forcing myself to go to the gym, not because of really anything other than it, my brain is on after I go to the gym. I think it's obviously the endorphins and all that, but I am wide awake. I'm more alert. I I just emotionally, I think I'm just more stable throughout the day. And so yeah, so this week, every day this week, I've been starting with the gym instead of, and not going crazy every single time. Maybe it's running, maybe it's a little lifting. Maybe she lifts a little. Maybe she lifts a little. Probably wrong. She probably lifts wrong, but it doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, so that's what I've just been doing at the beginning of my week. All that to say, this is incredibly long winded, but I've been having a crazy good week. Like I've just been in a good headspace. Uh, yeah, I've been seeing friends. It's just been a good week, I think. And I've been in good spirits, and I think part of it is literally starting my day off with that. So, I'm not going to make a crazy long episode because I want to go to the gym before I go to work. But yeah, it's been a really great week. Another great thing is, like I said, I've been hanging out with friends, and last night one of my friends is in town, and we went out for drinks with a couple of our other friends. So fun. Um, but I'm realizing as I get older that one drink, or is this getting older? Is this just like, Kayla, your body is messed up? But one alcoholic beverage and I'm done. Like I was on the bus home and I was like, ooh, ugh. If you're listening to this, body shaking, like and I'm already like a motion sickness baddie. Like I get so sick, and we'll get onto that topic, trust, in about 5 minutes. I wrote it on my list to discuss, but last night I was like, "What's happening?" I felt like I was in the twilight zone. I was like, "I'm not here right now. Nothing matters. I'm in space. The world is a lie." Like I just felt so bizarre. And I literally think it was the one drink. It was literally the Cosmo that I had that I was like, ugh. Just like jolting all over the place anytime the bus stopped. It was insane. And of course, I was also like the furthest from my home that I ever could be, ever. Right. So it just took forever to get back home. But yeah, I went out with some friends and it was great, and great to see everybody. And it got me thinking because Halloween's coming up and it's Halloween party time. It's all the good stuff that I need a Halloween costume desperately. For one party I have, I figured out I'm going as Sid from The Bear. And that costume's here, but that costume's easy, right? It's a blue apron, it's a little bandana, it's a little white tee, and it's my cute little face, and we're done. We're done and it's done. But I'm realizing I need another Halloween costume for another thing I'm going to, and that needs to be chic. Like it needs to be like the girls are popping out, and I need to pop out. And I have T minus 2 days. I kind of probably, let's see if we can overnight Amazon something. I don't know. Because I need something ASAP, right? Like the Sid thing is like a cute, fun Halloween costume. If we're going for like really good like vibes, and then the other thing is like bring out the corset, right? It's that vibe. So I need to get my life expeditiously, like quite quickly. I need to get my life. Um, but that's exciting. Halloween's fun. Uh, yeah, that's it on Halloween, I guess. What else is on my list so I can maybe actually know where I'm going with this conversation? No way, that just happened. Oh my god, I thought I just deleted everything that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about today. Um, But the other thing I wanted to talk about, kind of a little bit, just because it's been going on this week for me, it's been a great week overall, but just something that I've noticed within myself for years. But I think it's coming to a head because I let it put a damper on just a lot of moments in my life that don't need to be brought down in any way, which is my intense, oh, it's 11:11, make a wish, is my intense perfectionism. And I've been that way since I was a kid, right? I know people say you're a Virgo, it's a Virgo in you, and whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's an issue I have though. And I've just been this week, like I said, it's been a great week. I've had great moments, and if I ever, I'm thinking in the context of my acting class specifically, But I think this happens with dance. I think it happens at work. It's happened in friendships and relationships, like whatever it is. Like one critique, if I like get a critique on something, which especially when I'm thinking about dance class or an acting class, that is the environment in which critiques are welcome. That is when I'm not an expert in any of these fields quite yet, though the hope is to be. So critique and feedback, critical feedback is literally how I grow. And for some reason, I have it in my head, it's so bizarre, that when I receive critique, it's because I'm horrible and talentless. When anyone else around me receives critique, I'm like, I actually think nothing. I think nothing. I'm like, that person is still amazing and talented. My view of them does not change in the slightest. But for some reason, I think the minute I receive necessary feedback for my growth, that it is going to change not only the way that my instructor or my teacher sees me, but the way that my peers see me in the classroom setting, in the work setting, in the friendship setting. It is so, I don't know why I'm like this. It um it's so, I think there's a level of it too that's so deeply self-centered. Like no one's looking at you and perceiving you nearly as much as you're thinking about yourself, right? And we know this because I'm not thinking of other people nearly as much as they're thinking about themselves. I was like talking to my friend in my acting class one time, because I was like, I'll get up and I'll be so nervous to like do a monologue or something. I'm thinking everyone is looking at me and they're like, she sucks, she's awful, she, get her out, ah, throw tomatoes, ah, get the pitchforks. um, and then the minute someone else goes up, this is me in my head. "Ah, they're doing so well." They're killing it. Like, actually, I'm being so serious. I'm just like, oh, they're doing great. Or I'm disassociating completely because my class is in the evenings. So it's hitting 10 p.m. and I'm falling asleep. It's one of those two things, but it is never critical because I'm like, that's not my job. I'm not an expert in this field to be critical. That's my teacher's job to do. I'm not paying attention in that way. And also, these are my friends. Like, I'm not looking at them in that way. So why would I think that my friends or my peers would be engaging with me in that same way? That doesn't make any sense. But I'm like that. I and so then I take myself out of moments that are otherwise just moments, not good, not bad, but just moments. And I beat myself up, or I have an identity crisis and I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be an artist, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe I should like leave my job. Like one bad meeting and I'm like, okay, I need to leave my job, I guess. Today's the last day, let me pack up my things. Like it, I yeah, it's about giving yourself grace, and that's something, it's a learning curve. I'm working on it. I think as my frontal lobe closes, I'm so obsessed with that. As my frontal lobe continues to close and we have T minus a year before it's done, um, obviously I'm coming to those realizations more and more. And also that I want to change that, right? Like I want to enjoy moments of my life and not think that I have to be perfect or I have to approach something perfectly, because I'm not expecting that of anyone else. And if someone's expecting that of me, then that's them. That's for them to figure out, because I'm an imperfect human being, as we all are. And I should be allowed room to be that way, whether it's other people allowing me that room or whether it's me allowing myself that room to be not perfect. So yeah, it's just been something I've been, because I can say it right, and I can know that in my mind, but it's about in the moment not beating myself up, because I'm saying that to you and it's like, okay, I guess Kayla knows what the issue is, so like why is it still an issue? But it's about in that moment going, that's just feedback, that you just got something wrong, as people do. You just started doing this or you just learned this. Why would it be perfect? Right? Or maybe you didn't naturally. That's also the other thing. It's like, I'm not going to naturally take to everything, right? Everyone naturally takes to different things. So why am I beating myself up that I didn't take to this thing and someone else did? And it's like, okay, that's great. That means they naturally took to it. That means you have a little bit of a learning curve there. That's how growth works for both parties. So why does it matter? You're both going to get to the end result. We hope that's the goal. So what does it matter? And so I've really got to give myself more grace there. We're all works in progress, so it's fine. But I've just been reflecting on that a little bit this week, um, because it has been such a great week, and it's just been riddled with those little moments where like, Kayla, I just need to give myself a break, right? I'm really close to perfect, but I'm not perfect, I'm just a girl. Oh, next on my list, let's get back to the motion sickness. Okay. So yeah, after I left this bar and had my one drink and was spiraling on the floor, I'm kidding, but was like actually like tipsy off that one drink, I got on the bus, which the bus like usually like messes me up. I'll sometimes, if I don't want to pay for an Uber, I'll sometimes bus to the airport, but usually I'm taking the train where I go. But usually when I take the bus to the airport, it's like early morning or late night flights. So the bus driver is like chill, right? They're just getting me to Terminal B and that's it. But what happened last night, and this has happened to me before. Well, okay, let's get to the elephant in the room. I have motion sickness. I so easily, my body gets like torn up with any kind of motion, like in a car. Oh my gosh, we need to have my mom and dad on the podcast, because the amount of times growing up, I'd be like, guys, you're making my head hurt while I'm reading in a car and the car's just moving. And they're like, Kayla, you have to chill, like close the book, like pop some Dramamine, or like do some, like, we have to drive this car. We have to move it to point A and point B. We can't like not get you to school, right? That has just happened. Hey, it's Sunday, it's church time. We kind of just have to get there. You must relax. You know, it's plagued me for forever. And I discovered, because I was such a smart little kid, that the best way to avoid getting sick when I was in cars when I was little was to go to sleep. So I'd be knocked out, knocked out every car ride. Look, we're going 5 minutes away. Okay, I'm asleep. I'm asleep. Because otherwise, I would get so sick. And especially when I was younger, because I had to sit in the back seat, I couldn't sit in the front seat yet. And it was hell. Like, it was awful. And I used to be so jealous, bringing up the reading thing. I used to be so jealous of my like my childhood friend, because she would like read. We were both like big readers, and so she would read in the car, like when her mom or like my mom would like take us places, and I would try to do that, and I'm like, I'm about to throw up. How the hell are you doing? I'm about to barf in this car right now. This Jeep, this Honda is done for. I'm about to puke like right here, right now. How are you doing this? And so that's how motion sickness has really affected my life, right? I can't read. I My motion sickness gets so bad sometimes that when I was like back home and I was driving, I would get my own self sick. Like, yeah. Like if we'd go too far, like now I'm getting sick. And I had the power to slow down the car, and that just wasn't going to work. I would try to slow down the vehicle, and I'd be like, Kayla, stop getting yourself sick. And so I either had to always drive. I would make myself sick driving sometimes, yes, and that's just quite absurd and ridiculous, but not nearly as sick as if someone else was driving, because there's something about being able to empathize with my own pain while I also have control of the vehicle that's like nothing else with someone who has motion sickness. But I couldn't leave that to the powers that be being someone else who's driving the car. So I always had to be the one driving, or always in the front seat. Of course, with my little sister, that was always a fight. Like if my parents were driving, it got to a point where my dad was like, "I'll just be in the back seat," or my mom's just like, "I'll be in the back seat," and one of you can choose who's in the front. Because I, my little sister Brielle is so funny, because I would be like, "I'm gonna puke, like I need to be in the front seat," and she's like, "But I just wanna be there. I just want to be in the front seat." And so now we're arguing. So now we're arguing over a front seat of a car, and we just need to go 10 minutes up the street. It Childhood is ridiculous. Oh my god. But it started to get really bad, weirdly, as I aged. So there was this moment in college that I'm just telling you all the stories. I like got sick in the car. But I think it's absurd, because I tell people and they're like, so anytime anything's moving, like, and I'm not joking, an elevator could go a little too hard, too fast, right? And suddenly yeah. I get so easily sick, and I probably should see a doctor, but I'm just going to talk about it here instead. There was a time in college that I was going on this retreat with this like team I was on at school, and it was like overnight, and we were all driving in these like giant vans like issued by the school. And I was obviously sitting in the way back. There's like 8 of us in each van. I'd gotten there like late. I'm in the back of the van. And it was an hour and a half, 2-hour trip the entire time, gravel road. We're going to a campsite. it got so bad where it's like, no, I'm gonna barf. Like I won't get into graphic details, but it's like, oh, I'm barfing, right? I don't barf though. I hate vomiting, so I don't vomit, but I'm like, we are at that point. I then, once we like arrive at the site, everyone, like, people like start looking at me. They're like, Kayla, hey, you look like you've seen a ghost. So what ghost of, I don't know, a 200-year Trump America are you seeing? Because you look freaked out right now. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's when I break the news once we've arrived at the campsite that like, hey, I get really sick, violently sick in cars. But I didn't want to bother anyone because we had our two team leads sitting in the front and driving. So I was like, I think there's like a hierarchy thing. This is how my mind works, right? Obviously after I tell them, they're like, hey, I know there's like a the two team leads sit in the front, but also we'd rather no one puke in the van. So if you just sit in the front, hey girl, sit in the front. Like that my brain just like works so absurdly sometimes. I'm like, yeah, but they lead the team, so they should sit in the front. So if I puke, everyone just has to deal with it. And it's like, what? No, sit in the front. What? Hey, don't puke. Hey man, don't puke. Sit in the front seat. Like, it's just so it's just gotten so much worse over the years. After I moved to New York, also part of the perk of moving to the city is I was like, I'll be walking, I'll be on the train, I won't get nearly as sick. Obviously, the train makes me sick. Not that often if I'm sitting down. If I have to stand, like if it's rush hour and everyone and their mom is in that train, I I'm moving, I'm getting sick again. And there's just like nothing I can do. I have to use the train. But last night was the worst it's ever been because I took the bus home, and that bus driver, probably because it was like midnight, but they were like going nuts, driving through speed lights. What? Driving through intersections. Driving through intersections. They would like had to be going like 70 miles per hour, get to the bus stop to pick up the next group of people, like brake so hard, get everyone in, slam the door shut, keep it moving. Like it was the most insane bus ride ever. Like I got out of the bus when it dropped me off back home and I was like stumbling out, no longer from the one drink I had, but from like a weird kind of joy. Like I had just emerged from like the wreckage of a crash site, like Chernobyl. And I was like, oh my God, I survived. Like it was just insane how he was driving. And I'm like, at midnight? Is this, but he always ready to go home. And if so, I understand. But my God, we can't be risking my life just for that. It was insane. And I was like trying to, I have to eat, and sometimes that'll help. Like sleeping helps if I'm sleeping, but I'm not going to sleep on public transportation because I value my life. But sleeping helps, or eating something, or drinking like a lot of water while I'm in the car or in the moving piece of something, whatever it is. So I was trying to eat a bar. My entire bar falls on the floor of the bus, and because of his braking, because he was braking so hard. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I'm just gonna sit. And I was trying to dissociate. I was listening to the Center soundtrack, trying to feel something, if anything, and it only got worse. I never felt better. I was kind of always on the verge of like throwing up, but then suddenly I arrived home, and so it was okay. But I had to like walk around like my little like complex for a minute before I walked into my apartment, because I was like, I don't feel anything. I feel numb to the world and everything around me. Am I getting air right now? I don't know. I was so sick. I was so sick. Oh my God. So I probably need to track down that bus driver, but I won't. Anyway, last on my list, and I'll wrap it up here soon because I've been sitting here for 20 minutes. But last night, also my way home, so I was trying to think of songs that helped me disassociate. Soundtrack, obviously. That's my favorite movie, probably one of my favorite of all time now. I'm obsessed. And then I suddenly, like, it came to me as if God was speaking to me. I was like, oh my God, whip my hair, whip my hair, whip my hair. By Willow Smith, just the song, that's what I'm talking about. The song Whip My Hair. It kind of came to me as if it was like a dream. I need to play that song. And so picture me, I'm like shake, like he was going so fast. I'm like shaking in the bus, right? It's stopping, it's starting. I don't feel like I'm on this earth anymore. And the last thing, because I think I'm done for. Okay, the longer I'm on this bus, it's like a 30-minute ride. I'm like, I'm done for. This is the end of me. My last moment is going to be on this bus, jerking from left to right. And so the last song I want to play is Whip My Hair by Willow Smith. And let me tell you, that, and I'm not just saying this, and you guys know, or maybe you don't, I love Beyonce. She's my favorite artist of all time. I love her. A Beyonce holic? What's that? I saw a TikTok that was like, you're a Beyonce holic. Like a addicted to Beyonce. Anyway, the joke didn't land. I'm going to move forward. But I like Beyonce's music is some of my best music, my favorite music ever created. But when I tell you Whip My Hair has got to be the best pop song ever created, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Fight with someone else because you're not fighting with me on this. I refuse. That just is what it is. It is the best pop song ever created. Like it just like I put it on. I felt like I was levitating. Shout out "Levitating" by Dua Lipa. But I felt like I was levitating off the floor, but not in the way that the bus driver was making me levitate because of his terrible ass driving, but in the way that I was levitating out of pure joy and peace for the first time in that 30-minute ride. I felt connected to something I haven't felt connected to in a long time. What that something is, I don't even know, but I felt connected to it. Hell yeah, I did. That song from top to bottom, she just ate that. And what was she, 10? She was 10, creating one of the best songs, if not the best song ever made. We don't really give Willow her flowers. I don't remember her getting a Grammy for that song, and that bothers me. That bothers me. That's a good song. I'm not even being funny. Like, sometimes I know I say things and it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. That song's amazing. And it may have been the Cosmo, it may have been the bus, but there was something about that song that hit like never before. I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. Um, but now it just hits different. Like truly I whip my hair back and forth. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just it's amazing. It's such a good song. But with that, I'll leave you with that, and I hope maybe this week you make some time to not focus on being perfect too much if you're a person like me, and also just make some time to listen to Whip My Hair by Willow Smith on repeat. I say listen to it about 3 to 4 times, um, and then listen to it again. It's a good song, and I need you to get what I'm on when it comes to that song. Anywho, thanks so much for listening today. It was fun. Yeah, and I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great Halloween. Happy Halloween season. And yeah, thanks for watching. To talk about the elephant in the room today, I am using Clorox wipes as my microphone. It just felt right, so I'm doing it. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you listen to the next one. Bye.